Hi, this is BetGo. This is a hand history review with the Grinder School Shorts. We're doing MTTs. This is a $3 rebuy tournament. Um, Hero is he's a good player. He's been winning. He's kind of a cautious player, and maybe his style's kind of mesh with mine because I'm a little bit uh, tight. Cautious. I had to work on him to play a little more aggressive. Go not get scared or whatever. But he's playing better now. I have a little hard time working with somebody who's like a complete nit. But um, anyway, and we're going to go over a few hands. I've worked with them for a while, so they're not like huge mistakes. This is kind of a mistake because this is the rebuy period. I mean, you can make it 3 times the big blind or more. You could easily make it 600. And the fact that you're under the gun, it may look like it's strength, but people, there are a lot of people to act, and they'll think they can draw out on you. You've got ace king or whatever you got in their mind, and they want to gamble. So, to a certain extent, there's no point in making this kind of a raise, and people are doing this a lot in general, as you noticed. But it works like late in the tournament. If it's just stealing the blinds, if people are going to 3-bet or fold or something. I'm not that crazy about min raising everything anyway. But in the rebuy period, it just doesn't make sense. And I mean, there are possibilities. I don't think an open shove would be good here, but it's possible to even open shove or something. But make it 750 or so. You get a lot of information when you do that. You may scare away your action, but you're just not getting enough in the pot when you do this. It's a good flop. And in some ways, though, because we made the small raise, you have to worry a little more about the deuce and the small blind. But definitely gonna get it in here. This is fine. Okay, next hand. I think it's sort of interesting because there's some subtle issues, and not everything is totally a mistake. But okay. I don't like the flat here. I don't think he's a good player to do this with. You have to be very aggressive, even if you're going to flat here. If somebody's going to min raise or make it close to min raise, you got position, fine, call them. I mean, it's probably a fold here. I mean, I don't know whether you really can't shove this hand. I don't think, and I don't have the read on the guy that he's just raising every hand like 3 times the big blind or something. You might be able to do that in that case, but it just doesn't play very well. So I think I'd fold it rather than 3-bet. Or I think call's a little spewy here. And if it was a min raise, you're getting such good odds, and you have position. And here it's just kind of weird. We got the low end straight. We got the overcard. We got a gut shot to a bad straight, but it's kind of, I don't think we can flat here. I mean, I guess you could if you were sort of floating or something. I mean, we could definitely be good at this point. I mean, if you 3-bet shove or 3-bet get it in, you might have some outs if you're behind. I think it might actually be the play. I mean, the guy may look like he's committed, but it'd be a little bit of an overbet if to shove or whatever if you're gonna, get whether you can push or just get it in. But the king, the king's an out, usually an out, and he could very well have high cards and miss this, or have nothing and miss this. And so I think it's possible just to shove here. And again, the guy's a pretty tight player, and so for him, I think calling here is not good. I actually think it might. The question whether if you can make a play here, whether you could raise him and then fold to a shove, or just give up if you don't improve, or whether you just shove. Okay. But again, if he'd min raised or made it like a real small, then okay, call with almost anything. But I think it's a very hard hand to play with that king deuce. And again, these aren't like super big mistakes. I've worked with him for a while, and so some of it. This guy's been he's been doing profit sharing. He's been making a lot of money for me. This is a shove. It's a little borderline here. I think there may have been another situation where he did that in a later position. It was really bad. But basically, any two suited Broadway cards, you can push for 10 big blinds from any position. And it's not even a full table here. People are pretty tight at the stage. I mean, there's a big stack in the big blind, but I wouldn't worry about that too much because the things that people are going to like call you from the big blind, you're probably not, at least not dominated or anything. This will be the whole video because I may not go that long. Look at somebody else's play. Some of these hands are not necessarily mistakes, but they're kind of interesting to discuss. Here he folded. I mean, you say, well, you're putting in a 7th of your stack to set mine, but we're getting 4.8 to 1. So my play here would be to flat and to partly set mine. You go for a straight draw probably, and if the action's weak, you think you're good. I would just usually check on the low flop and see what the action is. But I might get in on the low flop if I thought the action was weak, or there might be some situations even where I thought I could take it down, even if it wasn't a great flop for me. I really think that's the best play. I actually posted this on 2+2, which it's the small stakes form, and they're always the best players, and people were mostly saying shove. There's all this dead money in there, but the problem is that he opened for 5 times the big blind in early position, and usually that's like a mid pocket pair big ace. If it's a mid pocket pair, it's usually a higher pocket pair than yours, and I'm not totally sure, whether these people who are calling here is totally dead money or not, because they're calling that 5 times big blind raise, shows some strength. They certainly could be sort of set mining or something, or just be bad players. It's a $10 tournament. Actually folded. I really think pushing is bad here. I mean, we'll see the results, but that was my opinion before I saw the results. And notice the tell where the king's just flats there rather than he's got a little bit more. But I think the king's overcalling there, playing that multi-way was a mistake because when the guy opens 5 times the big blind, he's likely not folding, and he's you usually got him crushed, and he's got a smaller pocket pair, ace king or something. He's not going to fold, and you're a big favorite with the kings. And I mean, you might lose some action from these other people, but then they may hit and it's not that likely somebody's going to squeeze. So the kings, I think the kings should shove because I just don't think the guy's folding. After he opens 5 times, and it looks like it looks kind of squeezy or whatever. So I think that was kind of a mistake on his part. But people tend to go for that slow play thing. And also, it'll be results oriented. All these people saying shove, you got, and that's the way they are. If you post stuff on some of these boards, everybody is shove, 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 and so sometimes it's not always best. I mean, granted, there are a lot of times the donks, will call when they should be shoving, but there's some situations. I'm pretty sure that I think the call is the best play there, but I mean, you could fold there, but. This guy's pretty tight. I think this is a little tight here. I mean, with 20 big blinds under the gun, you should be very tight. But 7s is pretty good. But I think it's an okay fold, actually. You definitely can't shove this or anything. But small pocket pair definitely a fold. But 7s, if it's definitely 8s or something, I'd play play the hand. Student asked about this hand. It's kind of an interesting hand. first of all, I also posted this, and people were saying the flat was not good, but I kind of taught him to do the flat. I think it is good. I mean, you're getting 6.6 to 1. And again, I'm a little more into to seeing a flop rather than push fold, And everybody's doing the push fold these days. Although sometimes, the random players at these lower stakes are not. But here, I mean, these cards you can't, maybe not strong enough to shove here, but these cards are going to hit a lot. And so I think the fact that you're short stacked is not bad because you can kind of get the money in. Now here, I would just shove this flop. And, you could definitely be shoving with a made hand here. And, you'd be a little scared of the draw or whatever. And you've got the gut shot and the overcards. So you got 10 outs against a pair. Which is about 40% or something. And there's so much dead money in there. So you're getting pretty good pot odds if you get heads off. So I think pushing is the play. Now here he shoved. I think shoving is good here because the original raiser checked. The original raiser could definitely be trapping, which he was, I think. But it does look like when this guy bets small like that, it looks like, well, this guy checked the low flop, so I gotta have to bet it here in position. I have a feeling he should make a larger bet there. He's going to bet. This looks a little too weak. But it seems possible the original raiser would not, see bet this into two players in the low flop. Okay, so the original raiser, guess we drew out, and I guess 4 outs. 4 outs minus his redraws. And so the student was worried that he made the wrong play there, but I don't think the guy's always trapping when he. And people tend to see bet a lot. If they don't see bet, you can be worried sometimes, but I wouldn't necessarily. I think that so. I think that was a good shove the second time. Again, like I said, this player's pretty tight. I think this is actually a shove. Because you can shove this kind of hand for like 10 big blinds into seven players probably. So we got a couple of them who it's 22 big blinds effective, 23 big blinds effective, 24, whatever. And but they may also fold some hands to that 24 big blind shove. And then you have one who's shorter. So and generally this small pocket pair is a good hand to just overshove because a lot of times the hands that are going to call you or that would re-raise you, you're a little bit ahead of, ace king, ace queen, ace jack, stuff like that. And it doesn't play very well post-flop. It's certainly possible to raise to side. I guess call the two shorter stacks, but then fall to the bigger stacks. The problem is you have these big stacks here, and there's one huge stack, and they may mess with you. And the guy on the button could easily flat you. And you don't really want to play the flop with 2-2, and you have 3 overcards, and you might just give up on it or something. Against that big stack. It depends on what the flop is. If it comes like ace high, king high, you might bet it. But I think the chances that the big stacks could re-raise you or flat you light, the push is a little bit of the better play here. It's not. Well, CC is, so we got like 24 big blinds, that's about 48 big blinds, 58, and 62. So if you're pushing, for 10 big blinds into 7 players, that's 70 big blinds. So I think also you have some more fold equity against these guys. They, may be a little scared of the overshove, I would think. Definitely get them to fold some higher pocket pairs. Okay. So I guess that's it for this.